Travis Touchdown doesn't look like a hero. He doesn't even look like someone who should be holding a weapon. He lives in a tiny motel room surrounded by anime posters and wrestling tapes. His only real possession, a beam katana he bought off an internet auction site. He is broke, horny, lazy, and deeply, deeply ordinary. And yet, he's the 11th best assassin in Santa Destroy. That contradiction of pathetic banality and exaggerated violence. It's the entire punchline for No More Heroes. Travis isn't a legend. He's a joke. But it's a joke that implicates us. Because No More Heroes is more than just a story about one loser's climb up a meaningless ranking system. It's about why we play video games at all. The hunger for recognition, the ritual of grinding, the intoxicating highs of spectacle, and the yawning emptiness when the screen fades to black. Travis Touchdown is not just the protagonist, he's a mirror. When you first boot up No More Heroes, you expect chaos, a city of grime, a place to wreak havoc, something like Grand Theft Auto or Saints Row. Instead, you get Santa Destroy, a strangely empty Californian town, flat and lifeless, with wide streets and barely any pedestrians. It feels less like a city and more like a stage set that someone forgot to populate. Between each fight, the game forces you to scrape by with part-time jobs. Hauling coconuts, collecting garbage, mowing lawns. The activities are tedious, deliberately so. They mimic the tediousness of real minimum wage work filtered through a video game. And then you use that money to buy your way into the next rank battle, where suddenly your world explodes into stylized bloodshed, extravagant bosses, and over-the-top cutscenes. It's a cruel rhythm, hours of monotony punctuated by a few minutes of glory. But isn't that what most games are? Hours of grinding for loot, endless side quests that feel like chores, the repetition of gameplay loops we barely enjoy, just so we can finally earn that one moment, the boss fight, the cutscene, the rare drop. No More Heroes doesn't hide this structure, it throws it back at us. Santa Destroy is a joke city, but it's also a mirror of how we play. Endless empty streets, traversed not for joy, but for the chance to reach the next scripted moment of brilliance. The plot for No More Heroes is simple. Kill your way up the rankings until you're number 1. But think about that premise. It isn't about saving anyone, or liberating a city, or changing the world. It's about numbers. It's about being first. And this is where the parody sharpens. The United Assassins Association, the governing body of this absurd competition, is itself a scam, constantly moving the goalpost, extracting money from Travis, and forcing him to prove his worth again and again. But Travis doesn't care, because he, like us, is addicted to the numbers. This is the way that gaming trains us to think. High scores, leaderboards, kill counts, trophies, ranks and skins. The obsession with being number 1. Not because it changes anything, but because it feels good. And every assassin that Travis kills is a person reduced to a statistic. A stepping stone. A way for the number to go down, closer to 0. And when he finally gets there, when he's the top ranked assassin in Santa Destroy, nothing changes. The city remains empty. The motel is still grimy. He is still Travis Touchdown, broke, horny, and alone. And yet, when the fight comes, they are extraordinary. No More Heroes serves up some of the most memorable boss encounters in gaming. Shinobu with her schoolgirl swordplay, Harvey the Magician with his gaudy illusions, Bad Girl in her blood-soaked cheerleading uniform beating men to death with a bat. These fights are grotesque, ridiculous, and stylish beyond belief. They are also addicting. Every time you mow a lawn, every time you collect garbage, you tell yourself it's worth it. Because eventually you'll get to kill someone spectacular. And this is the satire. Because it's also how we justify the grind of games. Sure, this is boring, we say, but the next boss fight will be amazing. Travis's hunger for violence mirrors our hunger for spectacle. And when the fight is over, when the screen fades back to the streets of San Destroy, all that's left is silence. Just as we turn off the console and feel the strange hollowness of an empty room. And Travis is often called pathetic, but he isn't just pathetic, he's familiar. He spends his money on action figures and interesting DVDs. He trains himself with pro wrestling moves learned from VHS tapes. His room is a shrine to pop culture, to obsession, to consumption. He is, in other words, a gamer. And the game is not subtle about this. His motivations are exactly the ones that most games dangle in front of us. Sex, money, and prestige. Sylvia, the Assassin Association handler, promises that he can climb into bed with her if he can climb the ranks. Travis doesn't question it, and neither do we. Because for players, this is normal. We are trained to accept flimsy justifications for mass slaughter, to accept B number 1 as reason enough to kill hundreds. Travis is ridiculous, but his ridiculousness is ours. And the further you climb, the clearer that it becomes that Travis is being used. The United Assassins Association is a scam. Sylvia strings him along with empty promises. The system extracts his labor, his money, his blood, just so that he can keep playing. But the trap isn't only for Travis, it's for us. Because the game manipulates us in the same way. It makes us grind, makes us waste our time, makes us pay in tedium just for the privilege of playing his best parts. And we do it, gladly. Because we want what Travis wants. Another fight, another rank, another number. And it's funny, until it isn't. The duel with Holly Summers is a turning point. She's different from the other assassins. A military veteran who's calm and composed. Her battleground is not a flashy arena or a theme stage. It's the desert. Sunlight, sand, and silence. And an open grave awaiting in the middle of it. The fight itself is almost cruel in its imagery. Landmines scattered underfoot. The player punished not by spectacle, but by caution and paranoia. Travis has to watch his step. He can't rush forward with reckless abandon. The desert forces patience, forces awareness. It feels less like a boss fight and more like being hunted. And when it's over, when Travis finally wins, the tone shifts again. Because Holly does not beg for her life. She does not curse Travis or scream or rage. Instead, she calmly explains why she has to die. For her, defeat means dishonor. Defeat means burial. And in her own strange, tragic way, she digs her own grave and accepts it. This moment lingers. The violence that once had been cartoonish now feels ritualistic, even mournful. Travis treats her death as ceremony. And Travis, for the first time, doesn't quite know how to react. The cocky bravado slips. His swagger falters. He is confronted not with just another joke character, but with a human being who insists that death has weight, even in parody. And it's here that Travis begins to rethink things. For the first time, he sees his role just not as a player in a joke, but as a man participating in killing. Holly's calm acceptance reframes the violence. It shows him that every duel has an echo. That every rank climb leaves someone buried in the sand. From this point onward, there's a subtle shift. Travis still fights, still kills, still bathes in blood. But Holly's grave follows him. The absurdity of violence can never be quite as pure again. And when the fighting stops, Travis always returns to the same motel room, alone, surrounded by his junk. The beam katana by his side, humming softly. And that image is the final mirror. The spectacle fades, the grind evaporates, and we are just ourselves again, wanting, unsatisfied, and waiting for that next number to climb. The parody of No More Heroes is cruel, but honest. It doesn't just laugh at Travis, it laughs at us. And maybe that's the point, to hold up the beam katana like a mirror, to force us to ask, what exactly are we chasing when we play? Because if there are no more heroes, then maybe the only joke left is us.